Hi, good afternoon, Daniela. How are you today? Thank you for taking part of this project. How's everything going on your side?
Hi, Rafael. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Daniela. We have, for those watching for the first time, we have Daniela Posada, who is from Colombia, Medellin originally. And the idea of these interviews is to create a space to invite international experts like Daniela, who work with business initiatives in different markets around the world, and to talk about cultural and communication aspects of doing business. So we're not getting into the technical aspects, it's focusing on the cultural communication needs and important aspects to take into consideration. So, like we've done with all the other interviews, we have 7 questions we're going to follow, and we will start now. Daniela, thank you again for being part of this project. The first question is for you to tell us a little bit more about you and what kind of work that you do, so everybody can learn a little bit more about your background, please.
Sure, Rafael. So first, thank you for having me again. Happy to be here. I'm a social communicator and journalist from a local university called Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana, and I am a master in public relationships and communications from Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona. Right now, I have more than 10 years of experience in the public and private sector. I believe that my main field will be corporate affairs, business development, project management, and public relationships. I think that's why we're here. We both believe in the connection of people and ideas. I really believe in the importance of teamwork, of service, and of course, connecting people.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniela. And also remind us as well, because I know you've worked with receiving international business people into Colombia, right? That's the person who introduced me to you. Has had worked with you several times in receiving businessmen from different countries. Tell us a little bit about your experience with that, please, as well.
Sure. I met Anna, the friend in common that we have when I work in the ACI, the Agency of Cooperation and Investment of the city. There, my job was to attract foreign direct investment, and we were also in charge of attracting international cooperation, and we're also in charge of promoting Medellin to the world as a destiny of investment. So, in that moment of my life, I was in charge of attracting tech companies into Medellin, showing them the opportunities we had in the city for growing their businesses and also creative industries. That's where I met Anna. I had the pleasure to meeting her and the group of companies she brought to Medellin, people that were really interested in getting to know our tech culture, our innovative and creative and tech ecosystem, the opportunities of investment. So we had a good time. We had a great moment, and it's very nice. We do have a lot of similarities between Brazil and Colombia. And I wish to see Anna again and more Brazilian companies uh, coming to Medellin and getting to know what do we have to offer to the world.
Excellent. And I wanted you to highlight that because perhaps people who are watching this video have this interest, have the same idea of exploring the markets in Colombia and Medellin, and having someone with a background already experienced doing that is important for them. So thank you for sharing that. The second question, Daniela, what are some things you recommend people do or say when they first meet and speak with a person whom they might be interested in doing, initiating a new project or business opportunity together in Colombia? What should they also not do or say? So, what should they do and what they should not say, just to understand how to interact with the locals there?
Okay, well, I do believe that sometimes cultural difference will get in the way, but in Colombia, we are very warm. We're very welcoming. So I do believe that it's very important to have a good first impression and always start our relationship or contact with respect, with honesty, not being, of course, disrespectful. And perhaps sometimes when people are very straightforward, we believe it's a bit of strong or cold since we are so warming. Like Brazilians, we are happy, we are very festive. So since we are very nice, perhaps break the ice with some informal communication and then go straight to the point. But perhaps matters are important. So being a nice human being, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but we are human beings at the end of the day. So those social interactions and those details do matter.
Exactly. Absolutely. People do business with people. And I speak from my own experience. I've been to Colombia many times and I've been very well received, and you are very warm, the Colombian people all over Colombia. So I definitely agree with you, and I recommend everybody to go visit Colombia at some point. So thank you, Daniela. The Go ahead.
Rafael, I was thinking about something that we do have to get better with. And since it's super important in business, I believe that when you are on time, especially after the pandemic and with the virtual meetings and everything going online and remote, I think it's very important to be on time, and that shows respect. Sometimes in Colombia, we are, I don't know, I wish we were like from like people from Switzerland. We've been getting better, so that's also like like an advice for ourselves, and really also show respect to the other person in the, I don't know, in the other part trying to approach into Colombian market, show respect and also be on time. So I think it's a good exercise and reflect how it's also important. It's disrespectful if we're not on time. I don't know if I'm clear.
No, very, very clear. And this kind of dives into the third question I was going to ask as well. We recognize that it's important to have a deeper cultural understanding of a local place when doing business there. So, what cultural aspects might be considered when doing business in Colombia? The time issue is something to consider. So, what other things do you think that people should take into account of the cultural environment in Colombia that they must respect when they try to do business in Colombia?
Um, I believe that not only in the corporate world, but in general, Colombian people really take care of their aspects and their presentation. So I do believe that it also a first impression is very, very important. It's very, very valuable. So be on time, and also your aspect, be well dressed for the occasion. I think it's important. In Medellin, also my city, I believe that, well, image, it's important. It also reflects respect with to the people you're dealing with. So the presentation is important. And I don't know if this is personal, but for me, a handshake is super, super valuable. If they are gonna give me a handshake, please be strong. Because if it's weak, I also believe that your interest is weak or your attention is weak. So I don't know if that's on me. You give me your opinion. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is could be universal too. It shows confidence. But yeah, no, and you as a Colombian receiving someone from a foreigner, this kind of first impression is important. I agree with you. So, and you're right. I mean, people dressing for the occasion, right? So that's important as well to
that's
take.
the expression.
Very clear. Perfect. Thank you, Daniela. The fourth question: if someone does not speak Spanish, what do you suggest a foreigner do to be able to communicate more successfully with the locals in Colombia, and perhaps how do they do business if they don't speak Spanish? What are some solutions that you can suggest for everyone?
Uh, well, starting with your country, Brazil, there's something called Portuñol, which I know you're pretty familiar with. It's kind of amazing how between our cultures and our idioms we can actually communicate. Actually, you understand better Spanish than what I can understand Portuguese, but definitely we will make ourselves understand. For us, also movements of the hands, we are very kinesthetic, we are very joyful, we're Latinos. So I think it's important for the foreign, if it doesn't dominate the language, to be resourceful. And sometimes I must say that in Medellin or in Colombia in general, it's important to know where you come from. So here connections are pretty, pretty important. So for example, in this case with you, Rafael, if I know that you're Anna's friend, automatically I will, of course, um, have a meeting with you, get to know you. Of course, you can have my contact. Of course, you can talk to me. So perhaps being referenced, I don't know if that's good or not, but the word, the buzz. So, hey, this guy's gonna call you. Oh, sure, it's friends with Anna. He's my friend. So that's a good tip. Try to have connections, and then we will help you out. We're good at that. We are very welcoming. If we see someone's having a bad time, I'm pretty sure that in Colombia, one Colombian is going to help you out. We are very yeah, what I was talking about at the beginning, we believe in the importance of serving other people. That's cultural, definitely. Like in Mexico, we are good helping people.
Very true. And yourself as a professional, you're used to, you do these connections with people, and so that's important as well to understand that that's how the culture, how people do business culturally, right? Initially in the first times. And just out of curiosity, if you're in a meeting and the foreigner does not speak Spanish, what would you recommend? You speak both languages very well, but if somebody else does not speak English, the local counterpart, and the foreigner doesn't speak Spanish, how would they communicate with each other?
Is is Google a valid answer? Because
It helps. Everybody
I
has a
believe that
phone.
technology, everybody has a phone. We're actually consider smart city regarding tourism, un destino turístico inteligente. So
Yeah.
I believe technology will really help. So people will come to Medellin and Uber, Airbnb, um, social media, communities, networking. So all those technologies will help you really to find what you're missing. So I believe that we're doing a good job with social media, with Google. People, it's part of the digital transformation that the society is having, and now we are very well connected. So take your phone everywhere. Ask for the Uber, the translator, and once again, if we see you having a bad time, I'm sure that we're going to help you out. But technology and definitely social media. Uh, Recommendations are very important. Every time that I have a foreign friend coming over, they already have recommendations of restaurants or places that some other friends recommended them.
Mhm.
So that's the most important, recommendations, and at least knowing what you want, and then we will help you get there if it makes sense.
Yes. No, clear.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Thank you. For the fifth question, to get better results in visibility or sales, what are your recommendations as the most effective ways to do marketing for products or services in Colombia? This question really focuses on what kind of marketing channels or people, how can a foreign company get their name out, create that buzz in the new market such as Colombia?
A good idea would be to contact me. Why not?
Sure.
So, of course, we are social beings. I believe that the most valuable connection is a direct connection, where there's emotion, where there is like eye contact, and really get to know someone personally. But of course, social media is your best friend. In Colombia, Instagram is like a big thing for marketing. LinkedIn, I must say that it works pretty well. Right now, we are with the boom of everyone wanting to have their personal brand, marca personal, marca personal. I think in the world that we live in, so many competition, so many information, you want to get yourself out there and do it right. And WhatsApp. It's important to know, Rafael. I don't know what's going on Brazil, but WhatsApp here, just so that you know, it's like super formal. Of course, say hi, introduce yourself, and really respect the time zone and also the working hours. Don't write someone in the morning or at night, but definitely WhatsApp is a pretty important tool for entrepreneurs. And once again, for marketing, the best marketing is getting people to recommend your products, like get the word out there.
No, absolutely. Very clear. Yes, Brazil WhatsApp is everywhere, from the clinic, from the companies they use WhatsApp. for business. So I can totally relate with that, and it's something that a foreign company needs to understand. That's a channel to
Oh,
talk with the clients, for example.
and when you were mentioning companies, that's actually what I do right now.
Mhm.
I offer specialized advisory services for entrepreneurs, entities, and foreign investors in strategic relations, in new business development, and commercial prospecting. But I think that my point is that you're not alone. A company is not alone. Not only myself, but many, many, many entities are ready to help. Here in Colombia, something that works really well, especially in Medellin. I'm sorry if sometimes I talk a lot of Medellin, but I think we're proud of being a city where the private, the public, and the education sector are always working together as a team. So if a company from abroad wants to do business in Colombia, wants to land here, you're not on your own. Also a good lawyer that can help you with um, tributary benefits and cities in Latin America, like where you are from, where am I from? We have a lot going on with the same time zone that the US, competitive costs, and after pandemic, all digital nomads that we are receiving. So I believe emerging cities like Medellin, Bogota, Cali, it's our moment. We really have a lot to offer to the world. Here we have a lot of opportunities, not only for doing business, but also lifestyle, baby boomers that want to retire here, travel, get to know other cultures. We have a lot to offer. So in general, that would be a good advice, not only doing business, but some tourism for business. So coming here to Colombia, getting to know new experiences, restaurants, and also doing business, it would be very important for you to get to know the cultural aspects and the yes and the no's. It's like a whole package.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to reinforce a point you mentioned about the public, the private, and the academic sectors working together. And I know that's it's sometimes it's I see it's more effective there, for example, in the example of Medellin, than in many of our cities in Latin America. The only the reason for them by them talking to each other is already a positive thing compared to many of our cities that they don't talk to each other. So as a business coming to Medellin in Colombia, having this possibility of knocking the door in the private sector, but then you also have the doors open in the public and the academic. That's very important, depending on what business, what product the person is selling. So that's an advantage that Medellin has. I know from my own experience going to Medellin as well. So that's a very good point that you brought up.
But also, I don't know if this is good or not. Perhaps in Brazil, it also happens. We are very similar in many aspects. Sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know. And it makes sense. Someone could pave you the way. And that happens a lot. And you were mentioning regions. Here in Colombia, we have a lot of regions. I don't know if we are, probably you have that also in Brazil, but we're very proud. That's good. Paisas are very proud. But sometimes there's a bit of competition going on between regions. That's good if it's like a positive competition that we want companies to come here. So we have these advantages, but no, all the regions have competitive advantages. A lot of regions are thriving, and it's very common to hear in Colombia that we say that we build country from our regions. So we are pretty regionalistic, and there are a lot of different aspects in cultures. So you have a lot of friends in Medellin, in Colombia in general. So the accent, the personalities, the way of doing businesses, I don't have to explain you. You know how different is someone from Cali, as in from Medellin or Costeño or from the capital. But we all have positive things going on.
But Daniela, let me ask you then. I know because I've been many times, but what if somebody's watching, they've never been to Colombia? Could you give some quick example of maybe some traits or some attribute from someone from Cali or from the coast or from Bogota? little bit of a small difference, perhaps cultural difference between. One thing you said is important regarding the each region is do have incentives trying to get companies to invest there. That happened in Brazil too, and many other countries. But speaking about culturally, what should a foreigner who never been to Colombia take into account, like comparing a someone from Bogota or Medellin, perhaps small cultural surprise that they should be aware of?
Okay, so I'll start with my city, Medellin. We're called the city of the eternal spring. The climate definitely helps. We always have a great weather. People will always be in a good mood. We have a great transportation system, restaurants, so people will be happy. Yeah, definitely. The biggest competition you will find in Bogota, just because it's the capital of the city, but it's a very big city. So there's a lot of competition going on, but also a lot of opportunities. So a lot of companies, for example, tech companies will come here if they want to also sell their products to the market, if there's more competition. But of course, more opportunities. And Bogota is the most important city of Colombia. But once again, there's so many people from all over that sometimes the identity or the cultural aspects are a bit lost because you find people from everywhere. Meanwhile, if you go to Cali, you will have a great time, great people, amazing people. They have a lot of good things going on. For example, Barranquilla and Cali, they have very good bilingual people. We are working on that in Medellin. So of course, you were mentioning it, tributary benefits, zonas francas. Yeah, but culturally, people from La Costa is very, very hot. So I don't know how they work with so much sun, but I believe that probably will be more informal doing businesses. Las ciudades costeras, there are different dynamics, right? So there's also more stuff to do. And in Medellin, for example, there's a pretty big tourism of business, we call that. So there are a lot of city events, corporate events. So here networking must be better, but then in cities like Cartagena, Barranquilla, you could travel and also do business. So that might be a difference.
No, very, very, very insightful, very useful. Um, because depending what the product or service the company wants to sell in Colombia, they could take into these things into consideration. So very, very, very helpful. And I agree with you. I feel Bogota is a little bit more formal. Maybe in the coast, it's a little bit more informal. But yeah, no, very true. Very, very helpful. Thank you.
By the way, hint, you could actually, people that watch this channel could download the new Colombian Tech Report so that they get to know how Colombia is doing in the tech ecosystem. And of course, Medellin, Bogota, and Cali are the main cities that have their tech and innovative ecosystem thriving and really getting bigger and bigger. So, for example, Brazil, you have a lot of unicorns, big tech companies, but I'm seeing in Colombia good opportunities for services as well as manufacture, of course, and agribusiness. Yeah, many, many opportunities. But of course, the importance of these spaces, it all starts with people and relations and connections.
Yeah, no, good to know. Later, perhaps in the article, we can send a link for this tech report because people who are watching this might have people who are interested in this field of technology, for example, specifically. So it's good insight. Perfect. Thanks, Daniela. The sixth question is more focused on empathy and this human connection, which we're trying to share with everybody through these interviews. If a business partner in Colombia wants to get to know you better and invites you to a local coffee place, a tea place, Juan Valdez, which is a great coffee place in Colombia, or a restaurant, or doing a virtual happy hour, let's say, what are the kind of topics people in Colombia like to talk about that's not related to business? So it's really getting to know each other, that period before talking about business. I want to get to know you. What do the Colombians like to talk about? Some examples.
Well, I believe that in Colombia, we have a harsh history with all the violence we suffered in the 90s. We had a lot of terrorism going on. Now, we're definitely in the map. We're definitely spreading the word out there of Colombia, that we're full of creative people. We have Shakira, we have Karol G, J Balvin, so many ambassadors. So my point would be that we are a very resilient country and that we make things happen. We are, I don't know if we're not proud of our past, but we acknowledge our past and we are proud that that's way behind us. And now we are a totally different country full of opportunities. So it would be bad to pretending to come to Colombia and for the bad reasons, for the Colombia that sadly Netflix sometimes still promotes, drug wars, narcotráfico, that's way behind. Colombia is way more stuff. Colombia is the country of beauty, of passion, creativity, working people with thrive. So definitely getting to know us for the real aspects, not what Netflix is showing. So really give us an opportunity. But if you are already in Colombia enjoying a great coffee, you will be more than welcome. That's important. And nice people, honest people, working people. Although sometimes I also believe that foreigners also bring a lot of ideas. So it's amazing how we could really work as a team and create and keep adding value, opportunities, and keep the internalization going for us.
Right. Yeah, just to remind everyone again, some key points. Yes, there was a past, but avoid talking about the past. You're meeting a new Colombia, talk about the positive things. There's so many amazing things I know that exist in Colombia. So focus on the positive things. And I'm sure, Daniela, when the foreigner arrives in Colombia, they'll feel the energy, they'll feel the excitement by meeting the locals. So a lot of good conversations will occur when they meet the locals personally. I know that for a fact.
I remember, thank you. I remember a marketing campaign of Colombia. The only risk in coming to Colombia is wanting to stay. So of course we're talking business, but business involves a lot of things. So you can come here to do business and then you will realize how the weather is great, how people are warming, how we are nice, the quality, the lifestyle, the transportation, the opportunities. Your money would be like, if you make money in dollars, you will come here. In the peso, you will, it's a great conversion, right?
Yes.
So in general, with the pandemic, we are really evolving our economy. I was telling you before that, for example, Medellin, we used to have a very strong manufacturing vocation. Now we're focusing on being a city of services.
Okay.
So I believe technology has also helped Colombia really transform digitally, and we are open to new market opportunities, not only nearshore, offshore, but also the opportunity to be a more international country in general.
Yeah. No, I agree. Colombia, there's a lot of opportunities, business opportunities, collaboration opportunities. I know a lot of people, I'm from Brazil, a lot of Brazilian companies are looking to expand to Colombia. So people who are watching this have to understand, or maybe do a little bit more research, or they can get in touch with you to learn about these opportunities. Colombia is growing. It's a lot of excitement happening. The tech space is very big. It's growing, but there's other areas. So absolutely. Thank you, Daniela.
Agro, coffee, citrus, milk, avocado, chocolates, manufactured textiles, exports. Yeah. Thank you again, Rafael, for the opportunity
Tourism.
to showcase.
Yeah. Tourism.
Of course, we are ready. We are ready for people to continue visiting us for the right reasons.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I will be back many times.
I'm waiting for you.
I wanna get to know more of the country too. We come to the last question. Unfortunately, we could talk for hours, especially about Colombia But we have to go to the last question, Daniela. What one word should everyone learn to say in Spanish and why? If somebody's coming from abroad, what do you recommend? One word or one phrase that's important for them to learn?
I like the word parcero. It's part of the slang, but it's, hey buddy, ¿qué más parcero? Como, bien. It's like super informal, but I think it's a beautiful word. It's like brother, it's like buddy, parcero, bacano. Those are the words you will play safe because we have here something in Colombia pretty funny that is, it depends on the context. The word is good or the word is bad. So just leave it at parcero, que nota, bacano, like always the positive vibing. Let's leave it at that. But actually, I just remember something pretty controversial is la palabra ahorita. I ask you, for you, Rafael, ahorita means right now or later, ahorita. So if a foreigner comes here and they tell you when is it, and they want to know when that's gonna get done, whatever assignment, if they tell you ahorita, it could be like ahorita, like 5 minutes or 5 hours. So good luck.
Yes, yes, I know. Actually, that's very common in many Latin American countries, but I will write this down for the people to understand. All those are good. And the parcero bacano, it's good because it creates this human connection from the beginning, They feel comfortable and you know this slang word, so it's interesting for the foreigner to use that. So definitely. Thank you, Daniela. I think unfortunately we have to end. But thank you so much for sharing your insights, your recommendations, your experiences. I hope this interview also benefits you, brings you opportunities. Like I mentioned, for the people watching this, we will post this interview in the written format in the newsletter with Daniela's contact information if you want to get to know about the opportunities in Colombia. And do you have any final comments, Daniela?
No, thank you, Rafael, for your time, for inviting me to this important platform. I really enjoyed myself. Now I can't believe an hour just went by. Happy to have you back here in Medellin. Call me. We can have a Colombian coffee, which is a great place to meet friends and to do business. Coffee shops. It's, by the way, super recommended. If you go to a coffee shop to work, you could do great networking and get to taste our amazing coffee. So everybody, welcome to Colombia. And thank you for having me once again.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. And we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Bye, Daniela. Ciao.
Ciao.